Okada. Okada. And if you would have told me this time last year, AEW is going to bring Okada in, and I'm going to be torn on what letter grade to give him, and it's not between A or B, then I'd be like, okay, like, damn, like I've become real judgmental and real judgy over the next 12 months. And in my opinion, I don't think I have been. And again, this one I struggled between a D and a F for Okada. I'm just gonna start with that. I'm just gonna put that out there. And again, I feel like this should be obvious, but I'm gonna say it just to for full transparency, whatever. Are we talking about in ring work? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because this dude be A plus all day, right? So definitely not in ring ability, anything like that. This is a total package though. And this is if you're looking at something as a whole and you're putting a grade on it, in my opinion, you have to look at the total package, and that's the presentation. And yes, he's great in the ring. All these people are great in the ring, right? Different levels, of course, like Okada's Okada, right? Osprey's Osprey. But Okada came in with all this fanfare, all this hype, the big like free agent debate, right? Not even debate, but negotiation, right? And struggle for Okada was happening. And I to be fair, like I don't think WWE, now maybe they could have, but I don't think they really made too much of an effort money wise. Probably they probably got to a certain point and they're like, all right, yeah, like especially if like AEW, excuse me, ended up offering or giving him like what was it, like 3 4 mil 5 mil a year. I definitely don't see and don't blame WWE for not wanting to fork that out right off the bat. I could see them, maybe a mil 2 year a year, or a mil 2 mil a year rather. Chump change, right? Just to come in and see, probably a mil five maybe. And again, who the fuck knows? I have no idea. I'm just kind of spitballing here. But I could see that probably being what WWE offered, maybe 2 mil. Um, and then AEW obviously probably doubling that because it's Okada, right? And if you're Tony Khan, you gotta have Okada. But I was one of those people, and it's between Okada and Omega. Now, obviously, we're not going to be talking about Omega, but these two guys in particular, when Omega's contract and well, both of their contracts are coming up for that matter, obviously different companies at the time. I was really hoping that they would go to WWE. As crazy as it sounds, and again, not to be like, oh, like let's stick it to AEW, like fuck AEW. No, like it, not at all. But in the sense that I was really looking for and hoping rather, and possibly looking forward to the story and the character development that we would be getting from especially Kenny Omega, because when AEW started, I had seen like maybe like 2 matches of Omega, and like obviously I'd heard of him, but I was really excited to learn more about him and to see, all right, what is the cleaner? You know what I mean? Like, what does this do? Like, who is he? Like, why is he the best bout machine? Like, just what is this dude? Like, who is he? And we really didn't get that, in my opinion. And again, I'm not going to get too in depth on Omega right now, but that's kind of where I'm at with Okada right now, and that's why I'm giving him a D, and I'm being, I feel, generous because I wanted to give him an F, as terrible as that sounds. But for the reasons I was just saying there about Omega. But at least Omega was the champion at that point, right? Or he did become a champion. And again, we're still very early on. This is just grading their, not even their first full year, but just their indoctrination into AEW, right? And where they're at so far. And yes, has Okada had some good matches? Yeah, of course. And like I said earlier, him in the ring is not the question here. That's not singularly what we're grading. If that was the case, then of course what would even be the point, right? Dude's amazing. But it's the presentation that really tanked it for me, and the lack of importance that has been displayed with him. The Not even the fact that he turned heel. At first I was like really caught off guard with that, and I was really surprised. But I was like, props to them, Like at first I was like, I don't know, like because again, Okada's Okada, and he had that aura, right, that everyone wants to talk about, and he came in with, man, just that, okay, like let's fucking go, like Okada's here, we're getting Osprey, like this, like it's about to like really hit, and they turned him heel and aligned him with the elite, and it's like, okay, like I don't even know if I would have done it so soon. Maybe would have drawn it out as much as I could for the babyface side. But again, I can kind of be on board with that and entertain that. And again, who better to align him with than someone that he's or someone or people, right? Someone's that he's super familiar with and comfortable with being the elite. Obviously, their relationship in Japan, all that good stuff. So it's kind of like a no-brainer in that sense. So I was like, okay, but and of course the Young Bucks being the EVPs, you would imagine that they became the tag team champions. You would imagine we're like, okay, they're gonna get ample TV time, really gonna grow. We're really gonna get a foundation. We're gonna get like possibly like a long-term story. Not expecting anything like the bloodline or anything drawn out for years, but just something, right? And no, dude comes in, he wins the Continental Championship, and he says bitch every week that he's on TV. And that's pretty much what we've gotten. And I'm just at a loss, really. I'm just really at a loss for why that's okay. And I'm I almost want to say why he would be okay with that, but I mean, shit, if you're getting millions of dollars to just go on TV and say bitch for a minute, then shit, you get to like save your body, like take less bombs, prolong your career in that regard, then hell yeah. So in that sense, don't blame him one bit. If I'm Tony Khan though, maybe this should be like creating how Tony Khan has handled it, but that's I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit too judge like more judgy or whatever. But whatever the correct terminology would be there. But I just if I'm Tony Khan and I gave this dude millions, because it's at least two. So if I gave him millions of dollars and he's Okada and I'm expecting something out of him. Like my bar would be very high for him. And again, not saying I expected him to be on TV weekly wrestling, anything like that, but I expected some type of story. Like what have we really built to with Okada? It just because Omega's out, like we can't do anything with Okada in the meantime? Like that's ludicrous to me. The fact that him and Takesha haven't really interacted is ludicrous to me. And Takesha's another story, but again, we're not going to get into that. It's just for the new hires of this year. But yeah, I'm just really at a loss for what we've done with Okada. Um, and I feel like the whole Omega's been out, so like it's a bit like this person has been on the back burner. I feel like that can be said for a lot of different people, and that's why I just feel like it's a BS. Yes, like that's probably 100% accurate, and that's fine. Like that's totally fine, but you don't have other people on the roster. Okay, so what were you gonna do with Okada after he had his program with Omega? Then so like I don't know. It's just very odd to me, just very odd. So that's why I'm giving Okada a D. And again, not wrestling capability, anything like that. So don't freak out. But his presentation, yes, he's a champion. And he's a champion, so that's why I didn't give him an F. To be honest with you, even though they have 15 titles there, I, I, the matches that he has given us in that presentation, it's been on point, and we are in the Continental Tournament right now. So I'm holding out hope for that. So that's why I'm not saying it's a complete failure, but damn, damn.